Good morning, day or evening, whenever you are. I'm Zenia Zhao and welcome to my studio. Today we're gonna paint this easy watercolor painting. It's a silhouette of a bird and it's gonna be explained step by step. So off we go. For today's work, we're gonna need a few colors. It's a transparent yellow, cadmium orange, neutral tint or Payne's gray, and ruby or alizarin crimson. We're gonna need a plastic card for making our grass, and we're gonna need a few brushes. It's a small round one and a bigger round one. And maybe for some of you it will be easier to make some grasses with rigor, but I'm not gonna using it myself in this work. So let's start. This is a pencil sketch that we're gonna need for this work. You can pause the video and copy it. I'm starting with adding three basic colors that I'm gonna be using the most. It's yellow, orange and neutral tint on my palette. Then I'm using clean water to wet up the paper. I'm using my flat brush to make it. I'm sorry not mentioning it earlier. We're gonna need a flat brush for wetting the paper only once. So if you don't have a flat brush, you can use whatever you have. After that, you're gonna wait a little bit to water to soak into the paper and start with your color. The first wash is brighter yellow and a little bit of orange. We're gonna prepare it at once, and we will start with just a bright yellow color. And now I'm preparing these colors to start my first wash. For this wet on wet technique, you need to be sure that there's no puddles are on the surface of the paper. So after you're gonna start adding your colors, they're not gonna mix unexpected way. What I'm doing now is using mostly lighter color, lighter watery wash of yellow, and I'm making a circle around the bird, and I'm erasing some of the color with my tissue towel, and I'm adding a little bit of this orange and the yellow mix here. The brightest color is gonna be near the bird. It should be the lightest one, and the color is gonna make a little change into darker side on the corners. And what you need to know about the wet and wet technique is that wet and wet technique, after when you're using wet and wet technique, after the paper dried completely, it's gonna lose some kind of brightness of the color, so you don't need to worry about making it too bright on the stage. As you can see now, I'm lifting my tablet and letting these colors, this kind of really washy, really watery wash of the orange, cadmium orange, I'm letting it flow from the upper part to the downstairs, so it can create a smoother texture. And here at the bottom of the picture, as you can see, the paper is starting to dry already, and afterwards I will need to make it I will need to add more water on the download part. Here I'm adding some ruby color to the cadmium orange to make this upper part of the painting brighter, and I'm erasing these drops of color just to avoid some unexpected effects on my picture. I'm adding more ruby color to the orange wash. It's almost mostly reddish, it's not really red, or you can use alizarin crimson as well. And I'm putting it on the corners around this main yellow circle of the bird, because this right part and the down part of this picture is gonna be darker. And I'm lifting up my tablet to let it flow. Okay. Now it's time to start with our dark color, and I'm using neutral tint, and you can use Payne's gray, adding some red colors in it, because neutral tint is one of Van Gogh series of royal talents. It's kind of mixed color, and it's a bit purple dark gray color, and it's really nice one. But if you don't have any, you can use Payne's gray and add into it a little bit of purple. You can add a little bit of blue and a little bit of red colors to make it more purple, to make it look better. Or you can use Payne's gray and not adding at all, and you can. If you do that, you can see that the result might be as well really good. So the download part is the most darker one, so I'm adding the most amount of the color, and I'm lifting up my tablet to let it flow one more time, because it's still wet, and this is how the colors is blending together. This is how they are mixing together really well. I'm adding more and more of the dark color on the down part of the picture, and let it flow in different directions. I'm trying to make a smoother wash, so I'm still using a lot of water added to my dark colors, but as well as that, I'm adding a lot of pigment in my water wash as well. What I'm doing now is using my calligraphic brush to make these wet and wet strokes of the grass, which won't be so contrast as if we make it dry on dry. So this is wet and wet technique, and we're making the basis of this grass to just silhouette, just kind of suggesting it. And I'm using not the same colors. I'm not using only this neutral tint. I'm adding, in some places I'm adding more of orange and mixing it, and in some places I'm adding more of dark colors. I'm smoothing a bit this part around this bird's beak, and I'm using water to make some splashes and to add a bit of texture, because paper is still wet. Okay, we're gonna dry it out, and now I'm gonna start to paint the bird, and I want to start with a kind of lighter color. So I'm mixing the orange colors with neutral tint for this lighter wash, because in this brighter side or on the corners of the bird's body, it need to look a bit more lighter to look kind of alive. Here I'm adding a little bit more darker color, so it might make the bird look more interesting, because if we're gonna use all the same color throughout its body, it might look a little bit flat. So here we are adding here and there, we are adding some of the mix of the orange and neutral tint here in its tail. Much darker here, it's just a neutral tint without the orange color. And as you can see, when I'm adding colors, when I'm adding some new colors to this wash, I'm just trying to split them just to make them mix naturally inside of it, and not just making too much with all of these strokes with my brush. I'm not mixing them on the paper, I'm just adding them and just let the water make it work. And here's the part when you can see I'm making mistake and I'm trying to solve the problem, because I wanted to make this download part of the picture more darker, but it didn't work so well. So I'm adding some splashes and I'm trying to smooth the corner, but it still doesn't really work. As well as I'm working on the dry paper now. So if you don't want to overwork your picture, you can just stop on this stage when we were painting grass, and it would be really nicely minimalistic and simplified picture. But here we, as far as we have this mistake, we can solve the problem, we can try to make it look better. So if you want to know how to make it, you better watch this video to the end. As you can see, I'm using my tissue towel to add some texture to this part, and now I'm using my plastic card, and this is a fine way to make some grass shapes. So as far as we have this dark and nice wet on wet, well, still wet paper, not wet on wet, just wet paper, we can make this nice and beautiful grass shapes with our plastic card. And now I'm adding more of dark colors using this neutral tint. Still, I'm using the neutral tint and some mixes of neutral tint with orange in some parts, and I'm adding some shadows and values to this grass to make it look better. Okay. And now we're almost done. I'm adding a little bit more of details here and it's all done. It wasn't that bad after all. I like this work and I hope you enjoyed it too. Hope to see you soon in the next video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave your comment in the comment section. I will be happy to see your comments here. Thank you all for watching and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I hope you give it a try and see you next time. I really be happy to meet you in the next video. Bye!